All right, so we're going to start it off with reacting to a short little discussion on the Jo Budden Podcast with Kevin Samuels. And I thought this was a great point. We on this podcast have touched on it ourselves, but I just want to piggyback off this conversation and hopefully elaborate a little bit more. So hopefully you can hear it, Doc. If not, let me know. If not, I can give you the summary afterwards. But here we go.
Budden. It's a fun name.
He's a plant.
Why'd you go on his show, girl? If that was me, I'd have cussed him out. See, there's a problem. We've allowed one-way violence in our community for far too long. One-way aggression. See, all these men in this room know that there are lines that we can't cross because fuck this podcast. We're going to have to go handle this outside. Because there's a low-level threat of violence between our men. Women don't have that. So they can say whatever, do whatever, be as foul as they want to because it's like, so let me get this right. You would have went into that man's place of business and cussed him out as if you could do something if you decide. You know, there's no recourse. Because they assume, because if you touch me, then I'm going to call somebody. Which is who? The police. Which is a man. A man, and it's typically not expected. When you think about who's going to show up, you're not expecting a woman to show up. You're expecting a man to show up, and let's be honest, most are expecting a white man to show up. I'm like, you got to think of the level of disrespect. All men are asking is for women to be nice and cooperative. That is it. They're not asking for you to be supermodels, IG models. They're just asking, can you just be nice, cooperative, fit, and childless? Is that much to ask for?
And then he goes on to that, but I just really want to touch on the fact that, like, yeah, dude, I completely agree with him. And we've touched this before. Like, men, there's always an underlying physicality to our discussions, our dialogue. We know if you don't act right or treat me with level of respect, we're going to fight. And with women, don't have that.
They have passive-aggressive triggers. We have actually aggressive triggers. Like, huh? Bitch? Like, you could be talking to some of my homeboys. Some of my homeboys are cool no matter what, like you're saying. Mm-hmm. But there's I have some homeboys who just, like, the word bitch should just not fly in their direction. It's just, you can be laughing, mid-laugh, all the laughter is captured, thrown away.
You just pass it just like, bitch.
Yeah,
like,
like, bro,
just
don't call me that, bro. Just don't call me that, bro. You
it's
know
a line he's drawn,
mm-hmm.
and he knows it, and we know once he made that line, and as men, we know he made that line.
We
and
just
I now know
respect
if
it.
I cross that line, we're fighting.
Mm-hmm. 100%. 100%.
And then another good point I think he made, too, was the fact that women, and he said it particularly in the black community, the black women tend to use cops to settle their
They tend to use the law, period.
Yes, period.
The law, period, is used against black men by black women a lot. Example, not even example, the neighbor.
Oh, talking about
Yes.
my neighbor?
Yes.
Yes.
She thought there was going to be what? Shootouts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little short story.
Okay.
There was a kind of like, I guess you could say, a little bit of a recording going on here, and one of the neighbors here was, I don't know if the word would be suspicious or worried or whatever because of the particular people that were around the house.
And she said the type of cars. And now that you've seen the type of cars that pull up,
yeah,
they're all nice cars.
Chargers, a Camaro, but this lady too, I'm not trying to reveal too much information. She also happens to be black.
But this is the thing. If there were white people pulling up in Camaros and Chargers, they're into sports vehicles. But if the black person's pulling up and this is, I'm not saying white people are saying this. This is coming from a black woman.
Yes.
She said she was scared that there was going to be shootouts based on the type of cars that pulled up to the house. Shootouts.
So I actually didn't hear what Budden said.
Yeah, I pulled a closed caption a little late. My bad, Doc.
Yeah, so you guys are going to have to summarize to an extent. To continue with the story, if we want to go down that anecdote. So the whole argument of, like, the culture of it, what do you think of that? Because it's like every culture has that side to it where it's just like, oh, that's like the... I'm just going to be frank. Like, that's the like, ghetto side or something
yeah, 100%.
like that. Yeah. And so everyone's like in my culture, it's just like, oh, all the El Caminos showed up and all the fucking lowriders, and it's like, oh, okay.
They don't have
Mexican woman's gonna call the cops. You know what I mean? Like,
they don't have that in black culture. What they have in black culture is black people who are adopted or assimilated into white culture. That's what, I'm not saying these are facts. I'm saying this is how it's viewed societally, like on the outside. There's no just obviously there's nuances and there's niche groups and whatever, but there's no just black clean cut. Like it's like, oh, he's a good black person, so like
he's whitewashed.
He's whitewashed. He hangs out with white people. Probably does business with white people. He probably does all these things with white people.
Or if he does, he's classified as like a nerdy or something.
Exactly,
like that.
But he's not classified as.
Yes.
His blackness is taken away.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Questioned.
Or questioned. You know what I'm saying? Whereas,
yeah.
So that means
like
that
someone we know asked us
questioned
like,
his own, and so
you were so thrown off when you said that.
completely. And so what you're left with, if there's no ability to be a clean or a good, or there's just ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole black culture is seen as ghetto. All of it. Now, how much of it you like to indulge in is how much of, like, even for example, somebody who's like a passive hip hop fan, you may see them. It doesn't have to be white. They could be Hispanic. They could be whatever. You may see them change how they act a little bit, not purposefully, not anything, but just, hey, girl, like, yeah, we finna go to this party, like, you know what I'm saying? Da 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 da. That's how much of that culture she's comfortable with or whatever. But she doesn't know it. She's associating that to being ghetto. Changing the way she talks and doing all that. That's an association with being ghetto. Even when you're trying to get physical before a fight. Have you seen foreign, I don't want to say foreigners, but not black people fight? Black people, obviously, they do their shit. Everybody does their shit. Spanish people do their shit. But I'll say, go ahead and say, Caucasian girls. They turn to black females right before they fight. Like fake black females, but they're like, "Oh, bitch!" It's
they
like
take
this
on this persona.
Yeah,
It's like,
like,
I wonder where this persona comes from.
Susan, you weren't talking like this last week, but now like she's about to fight. Susan then turned into Susanisha.
Yeah,
and like, you know what I'm saying. So it's subtle, and she's not racist. She doesn't know. Like, she's just doing this thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's just her inner image of how she should be when it comes
but
to handling herself in a violent situation.
there's an association to ghetto and black in there, though.
Well, the Spanish community, or the Hispanic community specifically, I don't know actually how to fucking, the Latinos, they also have a way of like shaming you.
Come on, Doc, say it, Latinx.
Nah, fuck that. I have a whole other argument I've already said.
I know.
That's a third group.
Yeah, I know.
But anyways,
teasing it, bro.
Yeah, they have their own way of shaming if you're acting too white. Like I said, like, you know, it's got words in different language and stuff like that. And so one thing I've also thought about that is like, do you ever feel like the culture digs its heels into that? Like you said, like you get shamed for acting white. You're not allowed to do it because you're afraid of, you know, getting your race card taken away. But like if you just kind of give it up, like it doesn't really matter at that point. Like if you think you're still, you know, a part of your minority group or whatever,
I think I was
race,
blessed.
and you just accept it.
I think I was, and to stick to this particular conversation about that, is I think this is a blessing. That's why I'm going to say I think I was blessed, because I'm half Mexican, half Irish. So people see my Irish side as the white side. So my white friends growing up, my white side of the family, saw me as Mexican. Mm-hmm. So whenever I would do something, anything white or anything, I guess they perceive as ghetto, I would get shunned for that. And then the other side, like I tend to hang out, especially in college, more of the Mexican crowd, and everything out, they would perceive it as, oh, you're white. Like, I remember one time being out camping, and we had this one drunk white guy just randomly come into our campgrounds, and all the Brazilian people were like, hey, Gene, you're white, you handle this, you know how to handle this. And I was like, what the heck? So because I was never really fully accepted in either community, it helped me identify with who I am.
Exactly. That's the point I was going to make, too. I think no matter what community you're in, if you have, like, a predominant me, fuck you kind of attitude.
That's exactly how, yep.
Whatever you attract, and people kind of just accept. Like me, you can ask Gene, dude, like, I'm not going to say I roll with gangsters or anything like that. I don't roll with anybody who's like a bad person. Everybody's yes, ma'am, yes, sir.
You have a diverse group of friends.
I have a diverse group of friends, a well-protected group of friends. You get what I'm saying? So, like, so a group of friends who always has to be on their P's and Q's. You know what I'm saying? And so I still talk like this. I'll be like, rubbish. You act like it's just how I talk. And if it's funny to you, it's funny to you. If it's not, it's not. But I've always been comfortable enough with myself where they understand, like, the value isn't in my words or how I'm acting, it's me. And so, like, you have to be comfortable with yourself. Eventually, your magnet will attract who is comfortable around you. Obviously, like, I've had white girls in front of Gene ask if I was gay because of how I present myself. Because I wasn't stunting them bitches, bro. Like, oh yeah, cool, you can hang out. I don't need to fuck. I don't need to try and flirt with you. I don't need to try and do anything like that. I'm cool. I'm minding my business. Blah blah blah. As if I was gay. But I'm just me. Anybody who knows me knows how my bones are built, and I ain't got one gay one in there. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think Gene said it right. Just be comfortable with yourself.
Yeah, if anything, that girl seems narcissistic, or she was just like,
100%.
He doesn't hit on me. What's wrong with him? Like, what?
100%. But
Kinda
she
got-
was used to that.
We got a little sidetracked with the conversation a bit. I guess kind of back, but that's why this line right here I kind of rewinded it back to, is this one hit home for me. We've allowed a one-way violence, and he meant
100%.
specifically in the black community, but I think that
100%.
applies to all
All
communities,
communities,
between
all
men and women. Like, we have allowed a one-way violence, and it's from the female side of the community. We have completely accepted violence from females and completely hardcore shun. And I'm not saying we shouldn't shun it, but completely put down violence from men. And I'd argue, I'm going to make this argument, that we need to be a little more lenient when it comes to our shunning of violence of men. Men, we are more physical.
Situational.
It's definitely situational, but we are more violent. And sometimes that violence needs to be expressed in a controlled manner, preferably, because it can get out of hand for sure. But it is part of our nature as men that needs to be properly expressed and explored and understood.
Also, the way we express our anger is a little bit different too. Like, for example, a woman will slice your tires and da-da-da-da. And they'll get mad and go punch her. Fuck that bitch. I'm finna go punch this bitch. That's what you know what I'm saying? But girl, slice your tires, make your day long. Goddamn, put sugar in your tank. Show up at work.
Attack your masculinity.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just
edit dick pics and post small dick. Like, girls will systematically.
What?
Girls are so like.
That one caught me off guard there.
I just made it up on top.
Okay,
I'm just saying. Girls are so wicked and maniacal though. It's just like, I don't put it past them. Like, I just don't put that type of shit past a woman. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as coming and hitting me, the way I present myself, if you feel comfortable hitting me, wow. Wow.
So I guess a little more example to this conversation that we can move from it, because we kind of been down this a little bit too long, is on again, tying it back to the Fresh and Fit podcast. So they had two girls on there, and Myron had to kick them out.
Again.
One girl decided not to leave. She just refused to leave. So Myron then grabbed her purse and shoes, took it out the apartment, sat down like, you got to go. She did not leave. She kept telling me, you can bring me my shoes so I can put them on and leave. She had one of her shoes. She was slowly putting it on, and she refused to leave. And it got to the point where it was very obvious she was
Mm-hmm. She wanted him to hit her.
She was exactly instigating the situation because she wanted them to put their hands on her so she could get some kind of case against him. Because eventually, when she finally did leave, she eventually went on her Instagram story and started saying, she called the cops actually on them. The cops eventually had to show up because she claimed that they stole $1,700 from them. Fortunately, Myron and Fresh are smart, and they record everything. Even before they put the bag outside of the apartment, open it up, this is what's in it, then put it down. Freaking smart. They covered their ass.
I mean, if he's gonna be a dick like that, he has to move like that. Honestly,
fair.
That's the full package.
That's
the full package.
Like he should have called the cops. He decided not to call the cops. Don't know why.
Called the cops.
I would like I said, we've excused one-way violence, and I would argue she was being violent, or as you said earlier, a passive-aggressive violence. Mm-hmm. This is another man's home, and he's telling you to leave. You have to leave. If you were a man, you would have been jumped.
If you're a fan of this show, I want you to find the episode where I said every guy needs a built big bitch to fuck up girls for him.
You said a big black girl.
I said like built. I don't care your race, as long as you fucking shit up. Yeah, bodybuilding bitches. Personally,
maybe this is me, my race decide. I want a black girl.
That's fine. But I'm gonna tell you this much: if I'm having security, one of them is a built bitch. 100%. 100%. Hey, her. Yes. Yes. I'd be so happy every time.
Hey, we need you right now. This girl. This one right here.
Her. Rhonda, get her.
But it just solidifies the point that women have no problem being disrespectful. He's touched on that too. Women are no problem being disrespectful.
Well, it also kind of sounds like they're weaponizing like our socialization.
Exactly.
So, like, guys, we socialize by pushing up on each other, and you realize like, oh, I pushed too hard, he hit me back. and that's the line, and then you kind of have this like, you know, wave back and forth. You can always tell like the alpha males because they're the ones who like walk through the door and push everyone down first, and then you go, oh, okay. And so like the people who like are a little bit more receptive, you know, like they're a little bit more passive. They're like, oh, okay, I know not to mess with him. But other people that are other alphas are going to be like, oh, now we're fighting because I'm gonna push back because the first thing he did to me was push me. So there's like a weird. You are right. Like it is primal in the way like we communicate to an extent, and like the way like a kid who's a boy interacts with like their father and stuff like that. Of feeling that push, that wave back and forth. It teaches them how to socialize and how to play with pushing without actually hurting each other. So when they enter like school with boys and go to camp to learn football or whatever like that, you know how to socialize with people. But like you said, like the woman was kind of baiting the push, and so it feels like the woman was aware of like the social situation and was weaponizing what a guy would do.
And I mean, not last thing on it, but I to add, I think women have a skewed scale of threat assessment.
Explain. I agree with you, but
they can't assess like they can't accept they not all of them. I don't want to generalize, but most women can't assess what level of danger they're putting themselves in, like correctly, because they have such faith in the rules and such faith in how everything's been. You know what I'm saying? Their whole life that it's like a girl will ask you to hit her and then be the most shocked person in the room when she gets hit. Like, that's wild to me. But she can't fathom somebody hitting her, so she would put herself in that. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching a clip of Fake Deep Thinking. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe, like the clip, leave a comment, and check out our page for more content. Full episodes of Fake Deep Thinking are released every Friday on Podbean, iTunes, and Spotify. Check it out.